What's good, Wizards fans, and welcome to the Locked On Wizards podcast. It's your host, the real Ed Oliver, with my guy, Brandon Scott. Today, we're going to talk about some Wizards news dumps. They do reportedly have interest in trading for Immanuel Quickley, and we're going to preview the Bulls game tomorrow night. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is good, Wizards fans? I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. All right, so we do have some news, just a couple of news dumps here. We have an injury report update from Chase Hughes of NBC Sports Washington. He said that both Kristaps Porzingis for a ribs injury and Daniel Gafford with an ankle injury that he sustained last night are questionable for tomorrow's game against the Bulls, per Wes Unseld Jr. Let's talk about that first. What are your thoughts about that? Of course, Bradley Beal has been out. This is supposed to be Brad's last game before they reevaluate him. What's your thoughts on those guys and their injury status?
I mean, if they don't play, it's definitely unfortunate news, especially when both don't play. Who's going to challenge Mitchell Robinson at the center position? So I guess it might be time to see some young guys pop up here. Maybe Vernon Carey, see how Vernon Carey does. I think it's time to kind of evaluate these young guys we have in the go-go because, that's a major loss, man, when you lose both your centers. That would be what I would do. I would see what we got in Vernon Carey, maybe Isaiah Todd, maybe try to get some minutes for young guys down there. But, it's definitely unfortunate, man, because that's a big loss for the center position because I felt like Daniel Gafford was starting to get into his own. And KP, if you look at Mitchell Robinson, man, he's kind of a tweener too. So I think that was a matchup.
We play the Bulls tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, Vucevic.
Gotcha. My bad, man. So, Vucevic, that's a big blow, man, because Vucevic is a very versatile center, man. He can shoot behind the arc. He can. Yeah, that's a big blow. So, like I said, I'm reiterating. I still think we need to put Vernon Carey in there and see what we got. Maybe Isaiah Todd. But, that's a big blow, man. There's a real big blow because Vucevic, man, like I said, he's very versatile. He can't shoot, can't rebound, can move a little bit. So, at this point, we'll see what we got in the young guys.
Yeah. They are questionable, so there's a chance they could play. Gafford had an ankle injury. He went to the locker room. So we'll see what happens. Kristaps Porzingis with his ribs. I didn't see him get hurt during the game. We'll see what happens with that. But, they're going to need all hands on deck against Vucevic. Last time he played against the Wizards, he had 24. And we keep talking about, centers and big men. They just have career nights against the Wizards. I feel like I'm saying it after every game or every episode. I'm saying the same thing. Joel Embiid went crazy. Anthony Davis, 55. We can add him to the list. We can add Valanciunas to the list. He had a double-double easily, one of the easiest double-doubles I've seen ever. I'm feeling like I'm DeAndre Ayton. Even though we beat the Suns, he had 30 points. He had an easy way to 30 points. Just every big. I feel like I'm forgetting about some other bigs that had big games against the Wizards as well. But every big we play against, they dominate and they have big games against the Wizards. So if those guys do miss the game, then Taj Gibson is probably going to have to start. Like you said, they probably are going to have to call up some guys. Vernon Carey, Isaiah Todd, and Isaiah Todd is very thin. We talk about how thin Porzingis and Gafford are, and that's a big reason why they kind of do get pushed around a little bit, or why bigs have their way with them. So if Vernon Carey does have to get the call up, or he's actually been playing in some when there's blowouts, so we'll see what he can do if he does have to play and get his number called upon. And same thing with Isaiah Todd, if he actually does get some minutes, guys got to step up and develop. But even if they are there, I see Vucevic having a good game just because the way we've defended against bigs recently.
Oh, best believe, man. Look, Vucevic is going to eat. Ain't no mistaking about that. He's going to get his. Like you said, we have struggled mightily against stronger bigs. And Vucevic, he's strong, but he can shoot. Like I said, he's very versatile. So he's going to test us. He really is. But, I mean, who do you really throw out there? I can see Taj because Taj, he is older. He has lost a step or two, but the strength is still there. He still mans up against these bigger bigs from what I've seen this season. So I'm not too optimistic, but I'm not too worried either because I think experience kind of, experience shows with Taj. He's going to be all right. But I still want to see Vernon Carey get some minutes. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's time to kind of see what you got in these guys in the go-go. And maybe Isaiah Todd, but I mean, still, it's a big blow, man, because Gaff and KP. But, that goes along the show that what me and you've been preaching all season is that they got to get bigger, man. Once you start seeing injuries with KP, man, that's always a warning sign. They got to get bigger because when you bang with these big centers down in the paint, man, it's going to wear on you. Look, you ain't gonna get out of the matchup with Ben Adebayo and be good, man, because he's a big dude. These centers are big guys and they're versatile. And, Bam was running the floor. Joel Embiid can put the ball on the floor. The modern day NBA center, man, is big, and he can shoot and he can defend. And these guys got to get bigger, man. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but maybe Taj for a game, maybe throwing some Vernon Carey. I think that looking at the matchup against Chicago, man. Vucevic is not your number one worry. I'm looking at Levine a little bit.
DeRozan too.
Oh, absolutely. Those two guys would be my focus, man, because we know what DeRozan can do. We know what Levine can do. So I'm not too worried, but it's definitely it's going to be interesting to watch, see how they respond to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am worried because the bigs, the way that they played. Vucevic he's been playing pretty well. He's an automatic double as of recent. But we're going to talk about Immanuel Quickley. I'm pulling up the article right now. This was written by Peter Dewey. He is a writer from AHN Free Digital. I think he's a Dallas Mavericks writer or something like that. He said that the Washington Wizards, the Bucks, and the Mavericks have expressed interest in New York Knicks guard Immanuel Quickley, according to Hoops Hype's Michael Scotto. So I'm going to read the one part about the Wizards that they wrote. So this is what they said in the article about the Wizards. Washington is in the play-in tournament picture in the Eastern Conference, and it could use a lead guard alongside Bradley Beal on offense. The Wizards have been playing Monte Morris as their starting point guard this season. Also about Immanuel Quickley, the number 25 overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft. Quickley has thrived in a starting role this season, averaging 20 points per game, 5.3 assists, and 4.9 rebounds per game across eight starts. A bit of a streaky shooter. Quickley is shooting 41% from the field and 33% from beyond the arc this season. The Knicks have a bit of a thin bench with Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Derrick Rose getting bumped from the rotation at times this season. So Immanuel Quickley, when he starts, he plays well. I think he's a good player. What are your thoughts? How realistic do you think it is that the Wizards can acquire Immanuel Quickley? But before we do get into that, I'm going to get a quick word from PrizePicks. PrizePicks is super easy. We just talked about Vucevic. His over-under on points is usually 16.5. Valanciunas was like 15.5 last night. And, of course, Valanciunas ended up with over that. Valanciunas ended up with the over on rebounds as well. So tomorrow night, I would take Vucevic with the over on points and probably the over on rebounds as well. If you want to look at DeMar DeRozan over on points as well, you might want to take the over on that. And if Gaffer doesn't play, then you might want to take the over on Kristaps Porzingis' rebounds. He's been rebounding pretty well lately with 10. Kuzma's been just really inconsistent with scoring, but you might want to. It's tough on him. It's tough on him because he's very inconsistent. But it's super easy. This is how it works. You pick 2-6 players, and if they will go score more or less than their PrizePicks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. PrizePicks offers projections on any sport that you watch. This includes NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL, PGA, college football, men's college basketball, women's college basketball, cricket, and more. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals. Currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. With promo code Locked On, if you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter promo code Locked On and sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. All right, so what's your thoughts on that report from Michael Scotto about Immanuel Quickley, and how realistic do you think the Wizards would be able to get Immanuel Quickley?
Well, it's kind of a sweet and salty reaction, man, because it's sweet where I like his game. He's a guard who can push the pace. He can run. He can't be streaky, but he has capability to shoot at a high level when he's consistent with a shot. I would entertain it. I think that he can push the pace, which is a big thing we need to do, is really push the pace on his offense. But a part of me is a little scared of the whole combo guard thing because, we've been there before with Spencer. We're there right now with Monte, and he is a combo guard, but he has shown the capacity to start. So I like his age, but the one part I don't like about the trade is they're going to try to attach Evan Fournier. And I don't think that money's going to weigh us down a little bit, especially if you look at going to next season with Gav hitting an extension and us trying to retain 2 out of the 3 of KP, Kuz, and Rui. We definitely need a starting point guard who's going to push the pace, but I don't want it to be for Evan Fournier's contract, because it just I mean, last time I looked at it, what was it? It was around 18 mil, I believe. I mean,
it's 18 mil. The contract is done in 2025. So we would have to have 2 years of his contract, 18 mil in 2024, and then 19 mil in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm not cool with that, because like I said, Gap goes to an extension, and that money's going to eat into potential money that if they're serious about re-signing Kuz or KP or Rui, it's going to eat into that a little bit. And so, but I would entertain it. Yeah, I would entertain it. Do whatever you got to do. If the goal is to build around Bill, then do what you got to do, surround it with talent. I think it would be a good move. It would push the pace on the offense. And Fournier, he's a scorer off the bench. Now, what would we give up for him? You best believe Will the Thrill's on his way to NYC. Maybe a young guy, and Fournier plays a 2 and a 3. So, man, you could see Denny. So I would entertain it. Now, how realistic is it? It could be a realistic move. Tommy, just like we do, knows we need a point guard. So I could see this move. Now, it would make the deal sweeter would be that first round pick. But what would we have to give up to get that first round pick? Whether it's Kuz, So if it's me, if I'm Tommy Shepard, I'm definitely sending Will the Thrill. I'm definitely sending a young guy and maybe a vet. But yeah, it's a sweet and sour deal, man, because of Fournier's contract. This is not a cheap one. And, if you look at every proposal they send forward as far as online or through the media, Fournier's been attached to almost every one of those. So we'll see. But I would go. I'm in favor of it. I like Quickley. I think he would definitely push space, and I think he would do a good job in DC at point guard.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. I mean, yeah, he brings some young legs to the team, like I said, pushing the pace. He can, he's really good at switching speeds, getting to the basket. He can score. He's a 3-level scorer. He can shoot the 3. I know the percentages are not high, but he's an explosive young guard, very shifty, something that we just don't have, somebody that can get into the paint and get easy looks for guys. I think he would work well with Porzingis and Gafford as well. You brought up the combo guard aspect too. Yes, we have seen, scoring guards coming here. They just don't fit next to Bill for whatever reason. It just doesn't work. But he is healthy. One thing I'll say about Spencer, he wasn't healthy when he started off, but Spencer just didn't play well. I don't want to talk about Dinwiddie too much because it frustrates me every time I think about him playing with the Wizards. But Quickley's a good player. He would be an upgrade over what we have. I think he would help. Would he move the needle to the playoffs? I don't think he would, but he could be a piece to help us, acquire more talent around Bradley Beal. Like you said, a trade scenario, a package, yeah, we probably would have to take on Evan Fournier's contract. They would probably have to attach some guys. We would have to attach Will Barton, probably for a deal, swapping Evan and swapping Will Barton for Evan, and then Immanuel Quickley, and and then Kuz would probably be in the deal too, and get our first round pick back. But I just don't think the Knicks would want that package. I don't think they want that, and I don't think they want to, give up the pick or give up the protections on the pick either to help the Wizards out. And they already have a good amount of forwards. They got Obi Toppin, they got Julius Randle who's playing good basketball. They got RJ Barrett, so they already got a lot of mouths to feed over there on that team. So I just don't see the Knicks wanting Kuz. So I don't, like you said, swapping one of our young guys for Quickley, maybe like Denny or Rui. I think the Knicks say that no to that too, because Immanuel Quickley, you could say that he's better than both those guys. So I just don't see any I don't see any of our assets really helping the Knicks right now. So I just don't think it's a realistic try. I think it's a good try by Tommy. One of the rumors that, or reports that Tommy tried to get, it falls in line with Tommy trying to get some, like Tommy being interested in Donovan Mitchell. I know Quickley's not as good as Donovan Mitchell, or the report that Tommy wanted to get Kevin Durant. Of course, everybody wanted to get Kevin Durant. It's one of those reports where we're interested in a player, but there's slim to none chances of it happening. So that's just what I think about it. Did you have any more thoughts about it before we move on?
Yeah, I get kind of tired of the trying, man. Let's get them. You know what I mean? Like, right. Let's really try to bring some talent here in DC, man. And I think that we need to start we need to start being more riskier and more aggressive in trying to get players. We really do, because that's how teams win championships. You got to go out there and try to get this talent. Cleveland went out there and got him. When we're talking about Donovan Mitchell, And look at them. We have to if we're serious about competing for a playoff spot or playing, we have to be aggressive in trying to get out here and get these players, man, because time's running out, man. We mentioned it, time and time again. Out of the young guys, how many of these young guys people are really trying to acquire? And to me, right now, it'd be Rui. Denny. I believe teams see a lot of promise in Denny, but the shot scares people. It does, and lately with him being aggressive, that scares people. He's not a complete package. Neither one of them are really a complete package. But as far as a guy who is more starter ready, I don't know. Both of them are started, but in this modern game, a 3-point shot is important, man. It just is. So, yeah, we'll definitely have to part with a young guy. But like you said, the Fournier contract scares me a little bit because it's money that is just we don't need the contract. So, yeah, we'll see. I would entertain it because I do like Immanuel Quickley. I think he's a guard. He's a University of Kentucky. That's my school, man. So he's a Kentucky guy. So I definitely like Quickley. But because, I've liked Kentucky all the way back from John Wall. As soon as John Wall came out of Kentucky, man, I was a youth. So,
I mean, Kentucky. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Kentucky is a powerhouse, man. I mean, they look how many guys they put out. So, but, going back to the trade, I would entertain it. But who would they want? Would they want Rui? Because Rui would probably be that guy that would probably be moved to New York. Because you said bench, maybe Monte. They need bench help. So maybe swap him and Monte. I don't know, but I would entertain it. But, as far as Tommy he needs to get more aggressive. We really got to go out here because let me ask you, man, do you think that Donovan Mitchell might have been somewhat of a realistic goal for us if we really pushed the pedal?
It's so tough because we have all those protections on the pick. That 2023 pick, the pick that we traded for John Wall is just so many protections on it. So it's hard. We just don't have the assets, like the Cavs, they gave up so many first round picks, or, the Rudy Gobert trade, the Jazz gave up so many first round picks. We just don't have it. And our young guys, people don't really value our young guys at all. They just don't. They don't value Rui much. The league just doesn't value Rui much. They don't value Denny or Corey much at the moment. They don't value Johnny Davis either much at the moment. So we just don't have a lot of assets. But yeah, I do want to see Tommy go be aggressive. I didn't think Donovan Mitchell was realistic either. I think he was just putting his name in the hat, kind of like with Kevin Durant. Same thing with Jaden Ivey. There was the reports that he was very interested in Jaden Ivey. DeJounte Murray too, SGA, checking in on SGA, checking in on DeJounte Murray, checking in on all these guys. But we just know at the end of the day is really not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just that's what bothers me, man. We got to get aggressive. That's you have to be aggressive. You have to find these deals in the whether it's free agency or in the trade market, because like you said, not a lot of people want to come here, and we got to surround build talent. So I was wondering, man, but I would definitely entertain it. I think that to me the biggest factor that worries me about the potential trade with New York is Fournier. I mean, I like Fournier, but not for $18 million, and not when I'm trying to keep Kuz or keep KP and maybe even Rui. And we know Ted ain't going to the luxury, man. So I mean, I just don't see where he fits. But before we move on to mailbag questions, today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline.net. BetOnline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From pro football to college bowl season to basketball and the World Cup, we got it all at BetOnline.net. If you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. So mailbag time. And before we get into it, man, we definitely appreciate all the questions, man. We got a lot of good questions, man. All of them are good. So, but we definitely appreciate it, man.
All right. And then last news dump. I mean, if you don't really feel, you can just have a one-word answer to this one. This one is about John Collins as well, because the Wizards are interested in John Collins. The Atlanta Hawks their asking price for John Collins is something in the neighborhood of Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell's trade packages. What are your thoughts about that, since the Wizards are interested?
Check his cup. What's he drinking, man? There's no way you're getting anything close to what Gobert got, man. It's not happening. They've been talking about getting rid of him for what, 3-4 years? Now you're trying to get check his cup. It ain't happening, man. If Tommy pulls that off, man, look, check his cup. You need to get a piss test, man. Nah, heck no. I mean, I like John Collins, man, but like we said it before. It's a lateral move, and for a lot of picks, we don't even have the picks. I don't think we even have the assets to do that. And it would be lunacy to do that because I think that Rudy Gobert's trade was crazy. I mean, all that for a guy who really has no shot. He's just a paint defender. That's it. So, I mean, it really changed the game because now you got teams thinking that they're going to get that type of return. It's just like it's unrealistic. Not for John Collins. Now, I could see that for Trae Young, absolutely, because a lot of the friction he's had in Atlanta with Nate McMillan. But nah, for John Collins, dear God.
Very well said. I have nothing to piggyback off that one. Last one, too. Cam Reddish, the Knicks are willing to part ways with Cam Reddish for 2 second-round picks per Michael A. Scotto. I don't think we're really interested in Cam Reddish, but that's just something to think about. We're getting short on time, so we'll do the mailbag question probably on Thursday. Let's preview the Bulls game, and let's do keys to victory. What's your keys to victory against the Chicago Bulls? Right now, the Bulls, looking at their record, they are fighting with us for the play-in spot. Putting up the league standings right now, they're in the 10th spot in the Eastern Conference. We are in the 12th. We're 2 games behind the Bulls. They're 19-22. They have been someone thought about rebuilding or retooling. There's reports that Zach LaVine wants out. You know, they've made some guys available for trade. Lonzo Ball hasn't played at all this year. Caruso's been in and out of the lineup, but LaVine's had some good games. DeRozan's had some good games, as they always do, some good scoring games. They lost to the Celtics last night, 107-99. LaVine had 27. Vucevic had 21 and 13, like I talked about earlier. I think he's going to put up similar numbers against the Wizards. DeRozan had 13 points and 3 rebounds, which is a pretty quiet game for DeMar DeRozan. They got Andre Drummond off the bench, another guy who's a big. He's like 250, 270. So what are your keys to victory against the Bulls tomorrow?
My keys to victory. Attitude, man. Let's fix the attitude. Let's really get aggressive, man. Really get aggressive. Especially if we were without KP and Gaff. Get those charges. Get into people's faces. Get aggressive because they're going to drive, man. They're going to drive the paint. LaVine can shoot, but LaVine can drive the lane. Same thing with DeRozan. DeRozan is a guy who he's not known for his 3-point shot. He can shoot it, but he's a mid-range genius who can drive the lane. He's got a long highlight sheet of dunking on folk, man. So I'm just trying to tell you, really get aggressive, get smart. This is where West comes in. This is where leadership comes in. Charge time, make it frustrating for them to go in, make them shoot. 2, man, transition defense. We've got to get back. I know there was a question that we're going to get into later on in the mailbag time about conditioning, but I'm going to cover it a little bit right now real quick. Conditioning, I don't know if that's a reason why we're struggling so much in transition D, but these guys can run. Look, DeRozan is still a cat who can skywalk, man. So we got to get better and get back in transition. So we have to really get back in transition, set up defense. And 3, I believe they're not very good at 3-point defense. So I'm looking at us taking high percentage 3-point shots, or we have to hit the open ones too. We have to hit open 3-point shots. And so I think those are my 3 keys of victory. I think this is still a winnable game. Now, without KP, without Gaff, it is going to be a hard game because, Andre Drummond, while he's not a guy who's going to go anywhere outside the paint, he's going to stay in the paint, but he's a big dude, man. And, him and Taj, how Taj plays against him and how Taj plays against Vucevic is something I want to see. I want to see how hard, because Taj can play hard on guys in the paint. It's just his speed, his shiftiness with his legs on defense. It shows. He's trying to slow down. But, that would be my 3 keys of victory.
Definitely, yeah, they do struggle on 3-point defense. Right now, they're 28th in 3-point defense. 3-point percentage allowed. They're 26th in 3-point attempts allowed as well. They're a good 3-point shooting team, actually. They're 6th in 3-point percentage right now. They don't shoot a lot of threes. They're 30th in 3-point attempts, but they knock down the threes that they take. Keys to victory that I would say. Whoever's playing big man, they have to toughen up against Vucevic for one. Turnovers, we got to cut down on turnovers. We've been very sloppy with the ball. The Pelicans, they had 30 points off turnovers last night, or almost 39. That's insane. That's ridiculous. We've been turning the ball over a lot. The Thunder as well, we had a lot of turnovers against them. The Bulls are probably going to play zone. So it's on West too. He's going to have to coach these guys up and get guys to open spots and have some plays to beat the zone. You got to get to the middle of the zone. You got to get right into the teeth of the zone. You can get to the paint and find open shooters. We don't shoot the ball well. But yeah, if they can keep Rui in the high post, get him to the high post so he can knock down shots to the soft, wide open spot of the zone, that should work. Also, getting back on defense, transition defense has been underwhelming for the Wizards this whole year. Like you said, DeMar, he likes to get out and run. Zach likes to get out and run. Nicola, he can get out and run. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but against the Wizards, everybody gets the offensive side of the ball or gets to the basket faster than the Wizards on fast breaks for sure. And the bench, too. I want to see them step up. I want to see Rui step up. DeLon, Jordan Goodwin, they're going to have to wreak havoc. They're going to have to wreak havoc against the Bulls. Right now, they're starting Ayo Dosunmu at point. He's a good point guard, but I want to see them wreak havoc against Ayo. I want to see them wreak havoc against Zach and DeMar. They're going to have to defend without fouling, too. I know it's going to be tough. DeMar DeRozan gets a lot of calls, so they can't get in foul trouble. They can't complain to the refs and get their heads down because I know it can be frustrating when DeMar gets a lot of calls. But the Wizards, they get caught up in that a little too much with complaining and putting their heads down when they don't get calls. So, and ball movement once again. I don't want to see the ball get stagnant. We're gonna need a big game from Kuz. Simple as that. The guys from the solid three, they're gonna have to step up and play better. Same thing with Kuz. Body language was not good last game. Kuz, he's gonna have to be ready. The refs are calling. They're calling travels on him. They're calling charges on him. So he has to play differently or adjust to what they're calling. So he just has to be ready for it. What's your prediction for it? And then we'll probably wrap up. We'll probably do the mailbag question next episode. I think it's from Michael Wilder, so we'll answer it next episode. But what's your prediction? And I know the last time we picked the Wizards to win, but the last two times they lost. They got blown out.
I know it's like opposite day, man. Man, I see this as a loss, man, because with Gaff and KP being out, that's especially with Bill being out, that's 2 out of the 3 of the solid 3 are out and Gaff. And those are 3 very important pieces of the team. Andre Drummond, man, he's a high, he gets a lot of rebounds and he's going to man that paint. I think the only way we can kind of get a win is leadership. Like you said, Kuz has to have a big game. And you cannot see the body language. You can't see the attitudes you saw last game. We got to come out and really be aggressive, positive aggressiveness, right? Like we said earlier, taking charges, get into people's face, making things frustrating. But they're going to get calls. And when it comes to attitude, look, DeRozan ain't no punk, man. So, these guys got attitude. Levine, these guys are known to have attitude. They're going to come at opponents. So, yeah, I have it as a loss, man, because I think that losing 2 of your bigs is and especially with your franchise guy being out, those are a lot of important losses. I'm looking at 107-96. We're gonna take it out, man.
Yeah, I got us losing as well. I think we'll probably lose by at least 10. Unfortunately, actually, I think we're gonna lose by 5. I think they're gonna come up with a better effort tomorrow night. But just want to thank you guys for listening. Hopefully, it is different from what we say. Hopefully, the Wizards do come out with a win. I just want to thank you guys for listening and making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. And make your second listen game to game from the Locked On NBA. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA or NFL with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. I want to thank you guys for listening. Hell to Wizards.